Another thing that I think it's important is something that I saw a reproach by the mob, the spiritual mob, let's call it, especially in the Gurdjieff area, that each time someone comes and says something, of course says something intellectual, there's this mob that comes, but where is the experience, where is the exercise, where is the actual whatever. It's clear that this intellectual thing is one thing, and how it is translated into how you live, how you exist, how you breathe, after all, it's another thing. So what I want to ask you is, how do you manage this fact that when you give something like this to humans, they will not translate it into real life. They will keep it in their intellect and rotate it there in the void, and their real life, real reactions, real attitudes, gratitude in front of life, real existence will be very separated, and actually very often very opposite of what they say by intellect, with the philosophy of the Enneagram and the doing and being more and you know. How do you manage that? Because it's your trade, right? You sell this information. So
I sell this information. You get to trick them. You can try to trick them into starting to do some of the exercises. When you start to do some of the exercises, you start to see things that you did not see before, inside of you and outside of you. Because, like, for a simple thing, you start to sense your own body. If you sense your own body, what will happen is that you will get some space inside of you. In that space, you will start to see some of your own reactions. The reactions of the body, like the sensations, and the reactions of your emotions, the reactions of your thought. So that means that you will see some small bits of truth in a certain way, and you get to verify some of the concepts in the teaching, in the Gurdjieff teaching or in the spiritual teaching in general. So if you verify some of the pieces, then maybe you will have some energy to try some other things, maybe some other exercises, maybe some other concepts. And of course, the downside of it is that you will start to believe a lot of things, and you will get so good at believing it that because the teaching, and especially the Gurdjieffian teaching, which has this quality of mesmerizing you, you will get, and this was what they have accused Uspenskis for, a system of looking at yourself, a system of looking at the world, and at the end of the day it will be self-calming. Why? Because you will start to explain in an intellectual way everything that happens to you, everything that happens to the people and the world outside of you. So, but there is a chance, if you do this, maybe you have some possibilities of getting to know yourself better. And if you see that you are not who you thought you were, if you see that you are not the best idea of a human being, maybe something in you will start to want to be more. Not godly, but going in that direction. I mean, not behaving like a robot, not behaving like an animal, not behaving like you are subhuman, and maybe you would like to be more. And this would be the beginning of that. I mean, I don't...
An eternal beginning.
An eternal beginning, yeah.
Eternal.
An eternal, yeah, well...
The perpetual beginning.
The perpetual beginning, yeah.
That's the trap of the devil. What I want to ask is that I need you to define how is Gurdjieff different in terms of his individuality, because it's a question of individuality. Each spiritual master exists as a spiritual master because they have achieved a form of being unique. This is the second body, after all, being individual, as opposed to being a norm, like unexistent non-being, existing only by the form of the current norm of what's around you. So how is he different in terms of individuality the individuality of leading others towards spirituality in general from other masters, from other systems, because there are a lot.
So,
I mean, you studied several systems. I'm absolutely sure about it. So you must have an idea about what's unique to this approach.
One of the things that are unique is the fact that he states that you do not have a soul yet, and you should work for it.
I don't think that's unique.
At least in the civilized Western world, when he appeared, like in 1910, 1920, probably there was nobody else saying this.
I know this proverb about tarot, which says tarot will help you build a soul. This is not from Gurdjieff. It came to me by random magnetic flow of information. This is not originated in his teaching. I'm absolutely positive about it.
True, but how old is
this idea? Probably older.
The tarot, probably. Yes, but the proverb, the saying.
I don't know who says it. Who said it? Because I don't know. Yeah. I tried to find out, but I don't know. If anyone knows, please enlighten me. Because I found it like anonymous quote on the internet some years ago, like 10, 20 years ago.
Yeah, so this is one of the things that, Gurdjieff tries to shock you, to shock your ideas about the world. And this is one of the best shocks, let us say.
Yes, but when you say this is a shock, you know what humans will believe. He said it to shock me, but it's not like that. Because the problem is, after all, that we are all self-count, either to the left, either to the right. Either there is soul guaranteed already there, or there is no soul. The problem is self-calming, after all, like he said it too.
Yes.
So this is not a shock in the sense that he said it to shock you, like he said a lot of things which are not true in order to shock you. But this is something, how do you relate to reality? Because if you convince yourself that is right or left, you miss the ternary form of reality. And the ternary form is this lack of certainty about the soul. So this is not, I would not formulate it that he said that to shock you.
Well, for sure it shocked me, I think, when I first read it.
It did? Yeah. But what you believed before that?
The religious Christian stuff that parents and family try to make me think.
Okay.
So it started with that. And coming back to Gurdjieff, I think one of the things that is unique to his teaching is that he brought a unique vision of the world on degrees of the cosmoses, degrees of the human being. So the intellectual part of the teaching goes quite well for a logical human being. You start to see connections, you start to see this is like this because this is like this. I mean, it's quite logical. And for the practical point of view, he brought some exercises which are unique in the sense that this idea that you have different centers, like the body, the mind, and the emotions, and the unique idea that you can try to exercise them, to use them at the same time. So I didn't find this anywhere else, put it like that, and I didn't find exercises to accomplish this anywhere else also. Most of the people, say you need to do some things with the body, but it's not all of them at the same time. So this, I think, is unique to him.
Okay. You must understand that we are really, we used to be really uninformed here. And that if something reaches you first, it does not mean it's the only one. Because we don't know what's out there. And these ideas are there when the internet grew. Mm-hmm. And especially nowadays where is so much information accessible to us. You can find this type of information in many places because you know them already. But places that are not connected or do not originate in what Gurdjieff wrote or brought, if you know what I mean. So he went places, he came with some information. Mm-hmm. Okay, I don't think that information is particularly unique. His thinking and integrating it is unique.
Yeah.
because this is what being individual is. How do you integrate world, and how do you process in your coherent version of the world, which helps you navigate and help others and communicate with others based on that internal image of coherence that you have. But I think it at the same time is not what you said, because he definitely brought a lot of thinking of his own upon the information and made it clearer, structured, and discovered things of his own. But at the same time, I feel that he brought more, because the way he tried to implement it in humans, because what you said, it's intellectual. You said he brought degrees, whatever. This nowadays in our age, it's so common to have access to this type of information by scientific method or by philosophical method or whatever. It's full of information. The world is, maybe it was empty back
saturated.
Then, at least the Western world when he came. But nowadays the world is really prepared to give anyone what they ask. Especially nowadays with the AI, the world is prepared to answer any question you have, and to answer it at a level almost, yes. Yeah, to provide you the information humans have globally by average, because the AI will never know something that is not will know it, but will not pay attention to it if it's something just in a few places. The AI will take what is most common as true.
Yeah,
this is how it thinks, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's still a lot of things. You can access a lot of things. So it's a lot of information that is there that either confirms what he said, either denies what he said, either completes what he said, either is parallel and the same, that is the same thing but expressed differently or coming from another place.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's really his contribution. It's contribution how he made some humans still preoccupied about it like 100 years after, like it happened yesterday. This is what it strikes me as remarkable. Because information is there. It has been there. It has been lost. It will be lost again. It will be rediscovered. This is how the information works. But the fact that you can make some humans stay there and process in circles the same thing like for 100 years, this is something that is really individual to him, because he made it happen somehow. And this is clearly his trait, his craft, his ability. And this, I think, because the information at the end of the day may be the same. Like, okay, you have to overcome ego. You have to develop soul instead of ego. This is the essence of everything, right?
Yeah.
But to make people actually do it, or even think about it for 100 years, this is what I think remarkable. You know what I mean? Because it's not happening. Even if they are not actually doing, maybe they just try, maybe it's just the perpetual beginning, like we said. But they're still there. So, and because it's there, it can draw the attention of curious seekers, like you said. And from now and then, there is someone who becomes curious because of this boiling.
Yeah.
And finds the truth. Through them or not. Through the teaching of Gurdjieff or not. But the contact, the interest is raised by this fire.
The initial contact.
The initial contact with this fire, like it's a fire burning somewhere, and this draws attention, like there is a fire. And this makes you understand like his ability to create this fire, which is lasting for so long. This is what I think is remarkable.
It's an interesting point of view, for sure. I'm trying to think about other, let's say, spiritual masters who also have endured the time. But for sure, none of them so complex, so much rising curiosity like Gurdjieff. That for sure. I mean, people are still speaking about Osho, let's say. But most of the things about Osho are already known. So you know what happens, that and that. But people are still arguing online, let's put it like this, about things having to do with Gurdjieff.
And he wanted that. He did it on purpose.
Yeah, for sure.
This belongs to the method.
This belongs to the method, yeah.
Yes.
To the hypnosis, in a certain way.
To the method to keep people interested.
Yeah.
And to dig.
Yeah.
and to contradict and argue, and but always
Yes.
argue around something.
Yes, an object of interest, for sure. Like he used to say, he has put not only the bone of the dog, but the whole dog. He buried the whole dog inside his, he had this expression stating about information, of course. He buried the whole dog in his writings, and people should try to uncover it. And people are still trying to do that. And the fact that they are still arguing, they are still questioning themselves, it's something that draws them near the fire, as you have put it. And I think maybe this is what the idea of the magnetic center that he has transmitted is about. Is something that maybe the magnetic center is not inside of you. You don't have to like create it for yourself, but he is the magnetic center, and you are drawn to it like a magnet. And after that, you should be able to see this, that you are drawn, that you are in this Yazidi circle, if you want to put it like this, and what you can do to get out of it. And being drawn to that magnet puts you under, using the Gurdjieffian terminology, under different laws. And if you are under different laws than the society, you start to see different things. Of course, if you start believing them and making like a belief out of the teaching, you'll just be in a different movie with the same characteristics, I think. I mean, you don't get that far, maybe.
I think the magnet is a question of triangulation as well. I mean, in order for a magnet to work, you need two poles and a magnetic force. So if you have this, in this example, you have one pole inside you, one pole in the center he created, in the fire he created, and the magnetic force is the spirituality or truth or God himself, which creates the attraction between one pole and another. So I don't think it's in you or created by them, but I think it's a triangulation. You need to have something inside, something outside, and something beyond in order to work.
Some people don't.
Some people don't what?
And some people don't have this inside of them.
They don't.
They don't.
They don't.
Yeah.
Or some people have this inside of them. They are attracted
but they
to
don't find the one outside.
Don't find outside.
Yeah.
Or, of course, there is this tragic situation, which I think is the most common. You have inside the pole, you find the outer pole, you find, let's say, the teaching of Gurdjieff, but there is no star force, there is no God. So there is no reality in that magnetic attraction. It becomes simply a social connection, because there is no God there. If there is no triangulation, there cannot be any real event. By definition,
no meeting, for sure. The two poles, they will never meet. Yeah, event.
It's not happening. So yeah, I think all the situations are possible.